Welcome to Strategic Transformations with Nikki. I am Nikki Cates Miller, mom of 4 girls, grandmother, wife, certified life success coach, holistic empowerment trainer, and life strategist. We are here to find inspiration and strategies for fulfilling life and work. Let's transform together. Hey, welcome back to another episode of Strategic Transformations with Nikki. I'm your host, Nikki Cates Miller, and today we're going to be diving deep into a topic that is incredibly close to my heart, from chaos to clarity, from drifting through life to living on purpose. But before we jump in, I just want to take a moment to thank each and every one of you who's been tuning in. Thank you for your support. And most of all, thank you for dedicating yourself to transforming your own life and those around you. And thank you for keeping this podcast going. I do what I do because I firmly believe that one woman's transformation can affect our communities for generations. And you are one of those women. So thank you so much for listening. Please let me know on social media or message me directly and let me know if these episodes have been helpful, a blessing, or inspiring in any type of way. All right, let's get started. This month, we've been talking about the 3 P's of transformation: peace, prosperity, and purpose. We've already discussed peace, coming out of survival mode and finding your inner peace. We've talked about prosperity and coming out of poverty mindset or scarcity mindset to think from a mindset of prosperity and abundance. Today, we're going to be talking about learning how to stop drifting through life and actually live life with intention and purpose. I'm going to start with a quote from one of my articles that I wrote previously about chaos and clarity. Chaos, defined as the state of utter confusion, happens when your life, thoughts, emotions, habits, relationships, finances, and decisions proceed without your internal guidance. It's the state where behavior and events seem uncontrollable. You feel like you're being run by your world instead of having the leadership over it. In the notes, I'll make sure I put the link to this blog post. Is chaos in life what you think it is? When you have a moment, please go and check that out. So let's relate this to drifting. Drifting is living without direction or intention. It's feeling like life is happening to you rather than you taking charge of your life. Trust me, I know how this feels all too well, y'all. Someone on Threads, because I've been engaging on there more. If you do not follow me on Threads, I am at Nikki Cates. I am Nikki Cates. Sorry, y'all. On Threads, someone asked, what do we have too much of? We were speaking of materialistic things, I'm assuming. And my response was t-shirts. And I was speaking of it in a literal sense because I do have a lot of graphic t-shirts. And I still feel like I have so many I'm still missing. Like, so many I still want to buy. It just hasn't been a priority, y'all. But I responded to her question and said t-shirts. That just popped in my mind just now because as I'm telling you that I know how it feels to feel like you're drifting through life, that chaos is surrounding you, that you have no control over what's happening. I have a lot of t-shirts, proverbially speaking, as well, when it comes to that. So how does this feel? I'm sure you already know. I know I do. You're always tired and exhausted, even when your feet hit the floor out of bed in the morning after your supposed rest and sleep. You stay frustrated, easily annoyed, easily triggered, and always feels like life is an inconvenience. Does that sound familiar to you? I can speak to the state of living with accuracy of this because I lived most of my life to this point in that state. I am turning 46 in September, and I have lived at least a good 20 plus years. Okay, we won't say plus because we're going to take away the last 3 to 4 years. So we'll say 20 years, at least the last 20 years in this state. struggling to have direction, intentions, self-control, or discipline. No self-awareness, no emotional stability, no emotional intelligence, no abundance, no energy, no fulfillment, no purpose. Zero leadership or management of myself and my life. I don't want to sit here and admit that I was weak and ignorant, but I was weak and ignorant. And most of it was because I didn't realize that I had that power within me. Amazingly enough, committed to God since my teens, I just never went and found out for myself that I do have that power and that ability to have that kind of control and that kind of management and that kind of leadership. It took me to go through years of hard knocks. So I am here to teach you what this looks like so that you can learn a lot faster than I did. So here's the good news. You don't have to stay there. I'll say it again. The good news is you don't have to stay there. We're going to talk about how you can shift from just drifting through life to living with purpose, embracing clarity, and transforming your entire perspective on yourself, your creator, and your life. So first, let's talk about purpose and how it can change everything. Drifting through life creates a breeding ground for depression and anxiety. Myself, as someone diagnosed with moderate to severe depression and anxiety, I know firsthand that drifting through life and relationships made emotional stability impossible. Medication alone would not solve this. I had to adapt a holistic approach. I had to come to terms with the fact that there were connecting factors between my spiritual faith, my own life and self-management, and how I showed up in the world and those around me. I had to stop being a victim. I had to stop blaming everyone and everything and accept the fact that if I didn't like myself or my life, I could transform. And I'm not saying that happens at a snap, but I promise you, it can happen. It just takes a little work and a little commitment to yourself. So, for some, the psychological route is the starting point. Self-reflection, goal setting, and mindfulness practices can help. Therapy and professional help can guide you further. Listen, y'all, especially if you're part of a minority community, particularly I know for sure my Black people and our Latino counterparts, we tend to think, take it to God and no one else. But I'm encouraging you to consider that God gave us therapy for a reason. Consider it. Consider counseling. Consider coaching. Consider going out and finding the people that you need to help you to stop drifting and begin to walk with purpose and confidence and self-love. Most of us, many of us, I'm going to say many, not most, because I don't know statistically, but I'm speaking from what I know and what I've seen. Many of us have to go outside and find that type of support because the people around us just don't have it. And you can't give what you don't have, y'all. And it's no reason to be salty about it. It just is what it is. So you have to go out and you have to find it. You have to find the communities. You have to find the people. I could be one of those people. Joining my community can offer you that. Finding a therapist. If you need help finding a therapist, holler at me. I know some good ones. Just take control in what you can take control of. Because many of us are conditioned to try and control everything else. Well, really, we should be focusing on ourselves. Everything else will have to fall in line, okay? I just want to encourage you there. You can do something, but it's not what you think. All right. Others might begin with spiritual practices. Obviously, if you are a Christian faith, Jesus Christ believing, the Lord God is all and every, God is God alone, then you understand that prayer is necessary. conversations with him, sitting with him, acknowledging his presence, exploring what you really believe spiritually. Do you really believe that God is God and that he is infinite and that he can do any and everything? Nothing is impossible to him. And that if he is the wisest and the greatest Father of all, that his creation in you was not a mistake. It was not a mishap. You were created for a reason, a valuable reason, and you exist in this time for that reason. Biblical teachings provide a strong foundation to help us to change our thoughts and the words that we speak about ourselves. Engaging in acts of service and seeking spiritual guidance can also ground us in our purposes. Seeking, key word there, y'all. Seeking. And we're not just talking about church. Obviously, church provides us this in one space. But sometimes you can also find it in other ways. You can find mentors. You can find community, small groups, even just your peers that are already walking the walk can also help you. You only need someone that's a little further up the road than you. They don't need to be miles ahead. So keep an open mind in how you begin to surround yourself with this. Thinking about Jeremiah 29:11, it reminds us that the Lord said, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." This verse assures us that God has a purposeful plan for everyone, even you. Yes, you. So let's get practical now. Here are some action steps to embrace purpose and combat drifting. Remember, drifting means no direction, no guidance, no intention. Chaos is the same thing. You're going about life with no direction, no guidance, no intention, no discipline, no management. You're just going. You're just letting things happen. You're just constantly putting out fires. You're constantly just going with the quote unquote, going with the flow. But when you do that, it's burning energy you can never get back, y'all. It's taking time that you can never reset and get back. So from this moment forward, I encourage you to reconsider and remember that we have limited time and limited energy on this earth. We can't go backwards. We can only move forward, one foot in front of the other, one day at a time. How are you going to spend it from this moment on? You know I was going to get this deep this week, did you? All right, let's get practical now. Self-reflection. Giving yourself time every single day, y'all. Listen, it sounds like a no-brainer, right? Before your feet hit that floor, you sit there for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, have a notebook next to the bed, or pull out your affirmations and listen to them and say them out loud, or whatever works for you. Look over your core values, journal, pray. That's 20, 25 minutes, 10 minutes for the Lord and 10 minutes for you. Listen, it's an intention, y'all. And now sometimes you may have to hit the ground running immediately and not have time. But what my pastor has taught me is if it's a priority, you'll find the time. Sometimes I get it in first thing in the morning. Sometimes I have to do it right before I go to bed. Long as I knew I acknowledged my Lord in that day, intentionally, not just throughout the day, because I do that. Randomly praying and talking to him. But we're talking about intentional. I'm going to sit with you. Let's have relationship time. It doesn't have to be grand gestures, y'all. It's the little things that count. And you know this as women. We know it's the little things. So I encourage you to think about that as your first step. Creating time, carving time and energy into self-reflection and daily spiritual moments with the Lord. Okay. Also, you're going to want to set goals, or some of us call them to-do lists. I like to say goals because even if you have a separate to-do list on a daily basis, they should align with your goals. We're not going to dive deep into that right now because we also want to be aligned with our core values. And you all know how I feel about that. So listen, if this is in question for you, I want you to go and download the 14-day self-discovery coaching workbook. It is free. You can get it on my website at nikkicates.com. Start working on that. And you can start it. This will help you with your self-reflection. This will help you with your goal setting and your understanding your core values so that you can align your time, your decisions, and your efforts and your actions and your thoughts. You can align everything with what truly matters for you, okay? Practicing mindfulness. You want to incorporate mindfulness into your morning routine, y'all. You want to make sure that your thoughts are not living in the past and they're not dwelling in the future. You can't change what happened 5 minutes ago, and you can't make what's going to happen 10 minutes from now, y'all. You can only prepare for it. So practice mindfulness. If you haven't done this yet, I encourage you to start paying attention. Just for a little bit. Where do your thoughts most of the time dwell? Or if your mood tends to drop when you were feeling great, what happened to your thoughts? I'm going to tell you about myself. I learned that my thoughts lived in what had already happened. When it came to my relationships, when it comes to money, or I was devastating myself every single day about what hasn't happened yet. Can't make it happen. Only God can bring the sun and the rain. All I can do is what I can do today, y'all. Just like you, just like all of us as humans, I had to learn to be mindful of this, because mindfulness is not just sitting in half lotus with your eyes closed and meditating. Mindfulness is a lifestyle. It's a habit that you develop. It's a skill where you learn how to be mindful of your thoughts and you are intentional about catching them. Y'all might see me randomly. If you're around me, I will randomly say something out loud and it won't make any sense whatsoever. I'm talking to myself because I have to stop my thoughts from wherever they're going. I will say nope in a heartbeat just to knock myself out of a thought process. It works for me. You have to find what works for you. If you don't want to look crazy talking to yourself, I get it, girl. But figure out what does work for you, okay? You also want to explore spiritual texts and teachings. If you believe that our Creator is in fact our creator of all things, then you're going to want to go to his source. Now, we're not going to get into a back and forth here about the validity of the versions of the Bible. But what I will say is, regardless how you feel about it, the reality is that is in fact the foundations of the Christian faith and humanity. And it provides us with a whole lot of what we need to get through life. Maybe not specifically sometimes in the 21st century. Is that right? Yes, the 21st century. But it does have valuable lessons, valuable insights. And the Bible is full of broken, unhealed, ignorant, weak people that lie, steal, cheat, cower away in fear. Come on, y'all. Prideful, conniving, promiscuous. Give it a chance and be willing to take in more information. I get that I am one of those people that just, it's a part of every assessment I take, it's a part of me to want to learn. It's who I am. But even if that's not who you are at your core, that doesn't mean it's not a habit that you cannot establish. Find ways to take in information that's going to better you, my friend. Listening to audiobooks, listening to podcasts, not just stuff filled with drama and culture and news. Even the news can throw you off of your authenticity, how you show up in this world. So I encourage you to be more conscious about what you're letting in your mind, your eyes, and your ears. Okay? Acts of service. Committing to one act of kindness or service per week, helping others, and then your help will come from other sources. Reciprocity, y'all. It's real. And finally, seek professional help. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say all of us could use a little help. All of us could use a little therapy because all of us have endured some sort of trauma, drama, or issues throughout our lives that has left some form of residue. I know that word is a little bit strong, residue, but it does. Think about it. Literally, it does. From our childhood to the moment that you are listening to me right now and I am speaking into this microphone, we all have residue, leftovers from something that we need to process in a better way. And we need guidance with that. So I encourage you to find therapy. If you are of the African American community, my sisters, I encourage you to try therapyforblackgirls.com. Me, my daughters, we all use it when we're looking for therapists or encouraging others to do so. So check that out. All right. So let's get back into some other steps that you could take in other areas, right? So obviously spiritually, we already talked about taking time with the Lord, prayer, reading your Bible, at least a verse or two each day, and reflect on it. We're talking about implementation here, y'all, not just receiving information, okay? You want to take a moment to reflect on how that can be applied to your life or what God is trying to say to you in that moment to encourage you and empower you. You want to engage with community. There is a social aspect to this. You want to build relationships. Intentional, y'all. We're talking about intentionality again. Cultivating. You have to do the work to develop relationships. You have to be mindful of them. You have to think of them, pray for them, reach out to them. I am busy. No, I'm not. I'm changing my words, y'all. I am productive, very productive. And so I have to schedule myself time to remember or develop routines where I remember to text the people that matter to me. It may not be every day, depending on where they fall in my inner circle, but I'm going to reach out as best I can, as many times as I feel compelled to do so. At some point, I finally learned that you have to, at some point, take your hands off of it and let people come back around when they're ready. No more prodding for friends, y'all. I'm encouraging you to do the same. The people that are there, that show up, that pray for you, that reach out to you, that respond, check on you just like you check on them. Prioritize those people, okay? Don't take them for granted. I would also say seeking out support systems. If you can't get that support in your everyday circle, such as family or your immediate friends or coworkers or whatever, go out of your way to seek it. Find it. Identify and learn from women who exemplify purposeful living. You want to have examples. Okay? I could be one of those people if you like. Reach out to me. I'm happy to share whatever it is that you need in order to help you get on the path that you want to go. Developing skills. That goes back to learning, being willing to learn. Listen, we are in the internet age. We are in the information age. You can take courses and workshops to develop new skills that excite you with almost zero problems, even for free. YouTube University is free. Listen. Career planning. Assess your current job and explore opportunities that align more closely with your values and your passions. This is a big one. Why? Because most of us are miserable. We are tolerating our jobs, tolerating our side hustles, even though they give us no life and no fulfillment. You have a choice to make. Do you want to keep tolerating life and work, or do you want to be energized and fulfilled by it? Once you make that choice, begin to assess the current situation. You may not be able to jump ship immediately, but you may be able to jump ship sooner than you think if you become intentional about it. That's what this is all about, y'all. Going from drifting to living with purpose requires intention. From chaos to clarity requires intention. Being deliberate about what you do, what you think, what you say, how you move, what you know, what you don't, who you give access to, who you don't. Okay? All right. So I want us to remember, as we're finishing up the 3 P's of transformation, all of this is interconnected. You may have heard the term intersectionality. All of this is intersecting. Peace, prosperity, purpose, intersecting. If you're going to change one area of your life, you have to change yourself first. And all of these are connected in some way. You want to say, okay, I want to change my health. I want to transform my health. I want to transform my finances. I want to transform my career. I want to transform my business. I want to transform my relationships. I want to transform my home and my family. I want to transform my lifestyle. All of these things are affected by each other. Years ago, I remember I had this dream. It was about a trash can that kept overflowing. Actually, initially in the dream, the trash can, it was like being stuffed down in there and pushed. You know how you push the trash down in the trash and then you close the top and you keep pushing it down so you can fit more in there? I know I'm not the only person that does this. Especially when you have to buy trash bags. Come on now. I've been trying to get as much in them flex bags as I can. But pressing that trash down, pressing it down. And I was praying about it. I was asking the Lord. This was years ago. And I began to understand that that's what I had been doing in my own life. Pressing it down, closing the top. Not realizing that even though I thought that I was successfully closing the top on it so no one could see it, it didn't matter because the stench was still creeping out from under the lid. You can show up at your professional environment, but the condition of your heart and who you are personally is going to affect how you show up professionally. And what's going on professionally affects how you show up in your personal life. See what I'm saying? There is a connection to them. And even when you think that you're hiding it from someone else, there are always traces. Always. Think about it. I just want you to think about it, okay? All right. So remember, transformation begins from above and within. So we just talked about how to seek out your relationship with the Lord and how to look within yourself in order to stop drifting through life and start walking with purpose. I know a lot of us are probably responding to what I'm saying right now from the sense of, I don't know my purpose. Well, guess what, sis? You can always start with the basics. Your initial purpose as a child of God is to love Him and love yourself and love others as you love yourself. All right? So just start right there. Just put one foot in front of the other day by day. Get to know yourself more. Put the work in to know yourself. The way you would get to know your new boo or your new bestie or your new child or your new workplace and co-workers, new neighbors, neighborhood, whatever. Anytime there's something new that we want to do or somewhere we want to go, we have to make an effort to be engaged in that process. If you want to show up as a new, different, reinvented, healthy, whole you're going to have to go through the process and trust the process. Okay? You got to do it. It doesn't just happen. It doesn't just fall in your lap. You don't just pray and read your Bible and speak some tongues and it happens, y'all. You don't just say, this is what I want and I'm going to manifest it. You have to put in the work and you're not going to show up in this world as you need to for the life that you dream of until you become the person you need to be to receive it. All right. So before we wrap up, I want to invite you to join our community for support in implementing these steps. Go to any page on our website, add your name and email to our subscriber list, or you can join our Facebook group or one of our 4 meetup groups. We're going to be making some major announcements over the next few months. We have some big projects coming up where we're going to be bringing everyone together across all platforms into one place. So right now, you're attending these online events and we're going to start scheduling out some in-persons again in the fall. But listen, this is a global community for women. We are going to bring us all together under one roof so that we can empower ourselves and encourage each other. And it's going to be easier for us to manage that when we have all of y'all in one place, because I have been driving my team crazy, having them skip across venues and platforms, which I appreciate them so much. I like words cannot even express, y'all. I just want to be surrounded by women that just have hearts similar to mine, like-mindedness. And I'm hoping that you're one of those people. So get connected and let me know what you think, okay? We'll be inviting everyone that's already going to be presently in our community across the different platforms into our Global Women's Transformation Collective community. Now, you want to make sure you get in initially during the first phase because you all are going to be the beta group that's going to help us to build this community. And we are not going to charge. You all will have free access for the rest of 2024. Everyone else coming in phase 2 will have to sign up under one of the tiers for membership. So I'm encouraging you to get connected now because the more of you all that we have in the community initially will avail us the ability to really build this thing out beyond what we already thought, to really see what you all need and want in order to truly, truly transform your lives and your work in the world. Okay? So we're going to be creating these opportunities for us to support each other in our journey towards peace, prosperity, and purpose, learning how to know, love, and be transformed in this world. More details to come, so get signed up, get connected wherever you are already. And thank you again. I really appreciate y'all for listening. Let me know what you think. And sis, let's become more intentional about living on purpose, living with peace, and believing for prosperity and abundance. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Strategic Transformations with Nikki. I hope you found today's discussion both insightful and inspiring. Remember, transformation isn't just a destination, it's a journey, and every step you take brings you closer to the empowered life you envision. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with other amazing women in your network. For more resources, strategies, and to stay connected with me, follow me on social media at I am Nikki Cates and visit my website at www.nikkicates.com. Don't forget to join our community of like-minded women who are dedicated to strategizing, transforming, and empowering each other every day. Until next time, keep strategizing, keep transforming, and keep empowering yourself and those around you. You have the power to create incredible change in your life and work. I'm Nikki signing off. Stay inspired, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.